it take for the Westerners to get on the scoreboard this week? And Friendship is wondering what it will have to do to stay near the top of District 3-4A. Hello, everyone, and this is Football Fever, brought to you by LISD TV, your source for high school football here on the South Plains. I'm Travis Cram, and with me, as always, is the Prince of Pigskin, George Watson of the Lubbock Avalanche-Journal.
That one's kind of calm today.
I'm not going to get too creative this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have been really searching for something instead of like, heck with it, I'll just do something simple.
Well, I'm probably searching for it as much as these LISD schools are searching for a win right now.
Yeah.
We'll start off with Coronado, Abilene Cooper in our first game. And, of course, as you mentioned it to me the other day, I think Cooper found out what kind of team they're going to be this season.
Yeah, and Coronado found out what kind of team Cooper is going to be. We said it all week last week, how explosive and how much offense that Abilene Cooper really has, and they really displayed it. Coronado got its 21 points, but that was against their second stringers in the fourth quarter after the game was well in hand at 56-0. So, a tough game for Coronado, but one that I know they'll build on. They kind of went back to some of the same stuff that happened, the couple weeks before when they were losing, getting behind early, creating, having too many mistakes, and you can't do that against a good Abilene Cooper team, and Coronado found that out pretty good.
Yeah, and of course that was kind of a trend that continued throughout the other two games, unfortunately, and just the amount of points that were being put up against the LISD schools. Gary Gaines, Permian making a return to Lowry Field, taking on Monterey in that game, and Permian just seemed to run away with it quickly. Yeah,
this one actually surprised me a little bit. I wasn't sure if Permian was that good of a football team. I mean, they'd gotten some good wins and had picked up some impressive victories, but I thought this would be a little bit closer game, but Monterey's offense just couldn't do anything against Permian's defense. And maybe some of the other teams that Permian has played, maybe I just underestimated them in how they can play Odessa Permian. So, but yeah, Permian a very good football team, and Coach Gaines really has that team looking good going into that very tough district out there.
And next game, the Westerners taking on North Mesquite and Lubbock High. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I think you were better than the University of New Mexico. Unfortunately, your score seems to mirror the image that they had against Oregon earlier this year. North Mesquite rolling 73-0 in this
Yeah,
one.
you bring up the Oregon-New Mexico game. This one looked a lot like that Oregon-New Mexico game. I was out there in Sweetwater on Saturday afternoon. A nice day. The rain cleared, but it didn't really clear out for Lubbock High. They were just too outmanned. In North Mesquite, I don't know if they're anything special as far as the Metroplex team. I mean, when we talk Metroplex teams, we talk the Planos, the Allens, the Evermans, the Alitos, things like that. I think North Mesquite is just a good, solid football team, and they were just out. Lubbock High was just outmatched again in that game. They've given up now 116 points in their last 2 quarters last 6 quarters and haven't scored any points either. So, yeah, I think Lubbock High's got a lot of work to do here over the next week with the open week. Try to find some offense and try to find some key guys that they can go to and some weapons that are going to actually help them out once district play rolls around in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. All 3 of these teams enter the open week now. What kind of a state of the union? Who do you think is where, and who do you think can make a push to maybe make a move in these standings, because they're all sitting at the bottom right now?
Yeah, they're all sitting at the bottom, but if you really look at it, really there's only one team out there that's really kind of asserted itself, and that's Amarillo High. And Tascosa has done it a little bit, but I still think they're maybe a little bit closer to the pack. But then you look at San Angelo Central and the 3 LISD schools, they're all pretty much at about the same pace or in the same position. So I think Monterey and I think Coronado can make a push. Lubbock High, I'm not so sure about, because I think they've got too many questions on offense to be able to generate enough to be competitive in their games. But I think Monterey and Coronado have some tools in place that if they can kind of tweak some things and get some things worked out here in the bye week, they can be competitive once district rolls around.
All right, going into Class 4A and over to District 3-4A, Friendship trying to figure some things out, trying to get things rolling this year with Tigers. We've mentioned the running game. It seems or appears a little bit questionable now, and we see a Hereford team that appears to be a very good team this year, the way they've played all these area teams so far.
Yeah, this was a very bad matchup for Friendship when you got down to it. Ryan Martinez, outstanding quarterback at Hereford with 342 and a couple touchdowns and ran for another touchdown. And, and he just dominated the game. I was really actually surprised. I thought this would be a closer game. I thought Friendship would be more competitive than this, but I think what happened here is Hereford might have exposed some things for Friendship. Friendship still has yet to develop a passing game, and that's going to mean that teams are still going to stack up on the run. And then, quite honestly, I think Friendship needs to develop some toughness. I don't see any toughness. I don't see any aggression out there from Tigers teams that I've seen in the past. And until they find that toughness and find that aggressiveness, they may find themselves in the same position they were in this time last year in district and fighting just to get into a playoff spot and doing it in a much tougher district than they were in last year.
All right, a challenge for the Tigers from George Watson right there. Dalhart and Cooper in our next game. The Pirates trying to get some more things rolling. We've seen them play some close games this year, win some close games, lose some close ones. Dalhart kind of challenged them big time and ran away with this one.
Yeah, they did. This was a very surprising game to me. I thought I thought this score would be a little bit more closer than it was, but credit Dalhart. I mean, they were 4-0 coming into this game, and they definitely proved it. They went out there and took control of the game from Cooper and really shut a Cooper offense down that had really been playing well for the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, the Golden Wolves went out there and got the job done. And now Cooper's got to answer some questions going into the bye week this week before district play starts in a couple weeks.
All right, and Shallow Water Perryton in our next game. Shallow Water, of course, making the move up to 3A from 2A this past season, and really the Mustangs proving that they can play with the big boys this year.
They can play with the big boys. Perryton's a good football team, as we've seen, but Shallow Water doing a lot of good things, both running the ball and throwing the ball, and then playing some good defense when it counts. And credit Shallow Water's resiliency. They were behind in this game, used a little bit of a trick play to get back into this game, and then got an interception return late for a touchdown to seal the win. So, yeah, a good win for the Mustangs. And now they've got a big game coming up this week.
Of course, we talked about this game last week. Roseville taking on Muleshoe, two coaches that know each other really well between David Wood and Greg Pointer. Coming back, and you mentioned it to me the other day, you've got Cooper Washington on the bench during the first half and then pulls the Willis Reed impression and just dominates after that.
Yeah. Cooper Washington, like I said, channeling his inner Willis Reed out there, was out with a shoulder injury in the first half, was in street clothes, in blue jeans in the first half, and talked to the Roseville coaches. They weren't surprised by it. They said, through Facebook, Twitter, we had heard that he was out. But then he comes out in uniform in the second half. First drive throws a big touchdown pass, and Muleshoe's off to the races. So you can see the kind of difference that he makes for that Muleshoe football team. But I think Roosevelt will be fine. I think they proved a lot of things defensively by being able to shut down Muleshoe in the first half, and some good things that they can take out of this game as well.
Plenty of questions, of course, surrounding Littlefield, and after they lost their first game of the season, taking on River Road in this one, and I think Barrio and Huseman have answered all those questions.
Yeah, you want to know how revenge tastes? Revenge tastes pretty sweet in this game, because River Road was was the team that knocked Littlefield out of the playoffs last year, and Littlefield went out there and exacted a lot of revenge, got their running game going, and Littlefield, I think, is back on track to being the kind of football team that we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. So, yeah, a big win for the Wildcats out there over the other Wildcats.
All right, well, coming up, you'll meet a line that is running wild this season out in New Deal. Our AJ Player of the Week is next on the Fever.